As I mentioned before, getting to know REQL is all about getting to know its functions. And so let's take a look at some of the common ones that you're going to use often. The first one I want to show you is pluck. And if you're a Ruby developer, then you know what pluck is. This will take selected keys from a document and return them in an array. Here, I just have albums and name taken from our artists. It's a bit like map, but it focuses solely on just returning selected keys. The next one I want to show you is limit, and if you've used databases before, then you know what limit does. It restricts the return results to a number. So if we only want 5 results back, well, you get the idea. Just say limit 5. And if we want to order by anything, we just specify it in an order by. And you can order by more than one key, if you like. So here I'm saying order by the name, and then limit the result set to 5. What you're seeing is functional composition at work. You just chain the functions in here in a fluid sort of interface way, and you can return what you like. Now take a look at this. The order of the functions is important. If I say skip, basically skip some records, after limit, well, no results will be returned because I'll only have 5 results that come back, and I'm telling RethinkDB to skip 10 of those, so I get nothing. However, if I put skip first, I would say skip 10 from the order, and then give me the next 5. So here I've skipped 10 records, and this is the 5 records after that. Okay, let's do something a little bit different here. I've already showed you one of my favorite functions, but it is so useful, and I've used it so much, I want to show you again. And that function is concat map. And what this does, to remind you, is it pulls out selected fields in an array and concatenates them together into their own array. So here I'm going to use the artist document, and I want to return, and I have to do this using a callback. I want to return all of the albums. So this is going to return all the albums as if there were documents in their own array list. I can now filter that array, if I want to, as I would any other table. So I could say filter, and let's do a callback here. I could just apply a normal object filter if I wanted. In other words, I could specify title equal to something. Here, I want to actually do something more. I want to use match. So match is going to take a regular expression, as you saw me use before. And here, I'm just going to look at the album title with a match of jagged. But I run into a problem. Look at this. Remember before I said you could insert any kind of document in there? And, well, isn't that neat? Well, sometimes it's not. Well, in this case, it's not. RethinkDB can't apply the filter to this document that I inserted because it has no attribute, albums. That might seem like a weird limitation. However, you can get around that quite easily. You just have to specify that you only want documents that have the field album by using has fields. And of course, I have to put this in before any of the filters. And there it is. My match worked. Generally speaking, if you have a table, then the documents in that table should be, well, roughly the same. But that's not always going to be the case, so has fields comes in very handy. So the next thing I want to show you here is if you use filter, notice it's lowercase. Well, filter is case sensitive. So here I'm just filtering on my name. If I put it proper case, then you can see the document that I inserted in the previous clip. Let's use pluck so I can grab the Twitter address from my document, and there it is. All right. Well, now let's use pluck on all of the table and see what happens. First thing to notice is that there was no error, which is a bit odd because this is a table full of artists, and only one document has a Twitter address on it, and that would be mine. Filter threw an error before when we tried to filter on albums, and my document didn't have albums, so it said, I can't do that, and it threw. This might seem counterintuitive. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and say that it is. So you're just going to have to memorize this. If you try and use filter on an attribute that's not there, then you'll get an error. If you use pluck, then you'll get an empty set, as you see. Either way, the answer is fairly straightforward. Try and remember to use has fields if you're not sure if the attribute is on your document. In fact, using has fields together with something like pluck is so common that RethinkDB actually has a built-in function that does both. And this is a common kind of thing you see with RethinkDB. You see functions that actually do two things, like concat map. For this operation, use with fields. This is pluck and has fields combined. Believe it or not, that's pretty much it. RethinkDB comes with a number of functions, but I don't find them overwhelming. I use pluck, filter, concat map, has fields, with fields, limit, order by, and skip the most often. When doing analytics, however, of course, there's more you can use, but for the average queries, these are the common functions that you're going to probably be using most often.